Hello and welcome back to another plane spotting photo editing breakdown. Today we're going to turn this photo of an Aegean A320 from looking like this to looking like this. This is taken from Corfu in Greece. This photo was taken at just 70mm on a Canon R5 with a Canon 24-70 lens on it. The settings I had were a shutter speed of 1/250, aperture of f4.5 and a ISO of 100. So nice simple settings with that one. And it's produced this really cool image. So without further ado, let's get into how I edited it. Lightroom Classic is my weapon of choice for editing photos, but whatever program that you use, the principles remain pretty much the same. So that's right. So the first thing I do is I go straight in with the exposure, and as you can see it's quite dark, so we're going to put that all the way up to plus 1.2. As you can see, that's already brought it straight back to life. Now we are going to just bump the temperature up to about quite a lot, because it was a lovely evening, a lovely warm evening. We're going to go about there, 6,248. So 6,240 for round figures, which as you can see, it's already brought a lovely warm tone just to the image as a whole. Really warmed it up, really brought that, because this was at sunset, it's really brought that warm vibe into the image. From there, we're just going to add a little bit of contrast, not much, +7. Yeah, give it a bit of depth. Now we are going to drop the highlights all the way down to, where should we go? About there, -85. So it just brings some detail back into the sky, back into the sunset, that we can work with a bit later on. And because we've got such low sun, obviously that's casting some shadows, which is causing some real dark spots. So we're just going to bring those shadows up, probably plus something, plus 40-ish. Let's go plus 40, and as you can see straight away, that's brought the detail back into the sort of fan of the engine. It's brought the details back into the background there, as you can see as well. Just lifting those shadows has made a big old difference. Because it's such a stunning photo, I genuinely don't think it needed much in the terms of like heavy editing. It's more just optimizing what was actually there and really bringing it to life. So we're just going to pop a bit of vibrance on there. Not much, +4, 5, and then just drop the saturation just a tiny bit, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. Yeah, so +5, so up on the saturation, up on the vibrance, down on the saturation. Vibrance kind of brings the duller colours to life. Saturation works on all colours, so we only want to kind of just bring out the dull colours there. If you've watched any of my other editing videos before, you'll see that I make a beeline for the what's called the primary calibration, or the calibration section, which is effectively where we adjust the colours at the core. The colours that we will work with from everything we do in the editing, we're basically changing the baseline. Does that make sense? So it looks a bit like this, and it's basically your primary colour, your red, green, blue, and we're going to adjust the reds. We're only working on the hues here, so nice and simple. We're going to bring the reds down to about -25. As you can see, it just gives it that sort of more rustic tone. There, gets rid of some of the orange that we don't want. The green, we are going to go to move it more towards the aqua side, so we're going to go probably +20 there. +19 will do. And then we're going to drop the blue primary down to -20 something, -24, -25, that will do. And as you can see there, as I move that one, if I do the extreme, you really see the lovely tones that it brings. Obviously that's way too much, so that's why we're going to do a little bit, -24, -25, and you can just see it gives a lovely sunset, warm tone. So now I'm going to just do a quick skim over something that I've not actually mentioned before in one of these editing videos, and that is adjusting the tone curve. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click to add a few little points. You normally do one in the middle, one in the highlights, one in the shadows. I'm not going to go too in depth on this because it's really not that important at the moment, but we're just going to lift that, by lifting that middle one up. As you can see, we're lifting what's called the mid-tones, and just again bring some lovely light to the video. And then traditionally what you'll do is you then counteract it a little bit, so we'll just bring this highlight point back down, just so we're not blowing that sunset out, that sunset that's just sort of creeping in on the side there. So we're just going to balance that back out, and then the same with the bottom at the shadows. We'll just reintroduce that contrast that we've added, because else you can see it just looks very faded. If that's the look, if this is the thing with editing, everyone has a style, everyone develops their own style, a look that is them, that is how or what works for their creative or for their artistic view. So, you know, quite common you see a faded look, and that's how you achieve it. For me, however, I like having that nice rich contrast, so we're just going to bring that back down to where it was. We can then move over to the blue primary curve, and this is where it gets really advanced and we don't really need to get into it, and we can just do the same thing and just drop the mid-tone just back into the warmth, back into the orange, just to again reinstate that look that we want. Boom. This is the before and after. And like I said, we've not done anything overly complicated. We've just enhanced what we had to work with. So yeah, that really is as much as I'm going to do on that side of it. So now what we're going to do is we are going to crop for Instagram. So the best setting for that is to change the aspect to 4.5, and we're then going to flip that round to portrait, like so. And we can then move our subject into the center, just crop it down just a little bit. And this goes to show just how close you can get in Corfu. If you've not, I've made a whole video about Corfu and spotting at Corfu, so I will link that up here somewhere. And if you want to go and check it out, it'll break down the best places to go, not only to spot, but just whilst you're there. It'll show you all the different angles you can get, just how close you are to the runway, the best place to stay, in my opinion. So yeah, if you're into plane spotting and you're up for a bit of travel, definitely check that video out, because it's the best video I've made so far, I think, personally. But hey, I'm biased. But yeah, either way, go and check it out. It'll give you a great breakdown of what to expect if you go plane spotting at Corfu and how to get shots like this. So yeah, anyway, now we have got our image cropped and stuff, we can now add our masks. And if you've watched any of the other videos in this playlist, or in this series, should I say, you'll see that I love a mask because it genuinely transforms an image. So first thing I'm going to do is hit M on the keyboard to add a new linear gradient, and I'm going to drag that in from the top right hand corner and fade it out sort of almost 3/4 away across the image. And as you can see from the red, which is where the mask is going to impact, it blends it in really nicely. And what we're going to do with this one is we're just going to add just a tiny bit of extra exposure, plus 0.35-ish, just to bring the light from the side that it was coming from. So in the actual image, the light is coming from the right hand side there, and obviously fades out. So we're just enhancing the natural light that we had, and we're just going to warm that up just a touch. Maybe fuck it, just to throw the load in. We're going to add plus 14 to the temperature. So as you can see, if I turn that mask on and off, it's added this really lovely warm glow from the right hand side, which is where the sun was setting just out of frame, and that gives the image a really enhanced into the sunset kind of vibe. To counteract that, we're then going to hit M again, we're going to add another linear gradient just up from the bottom there, and we're going to effectively do the opposite. So we're going to drop the exposure ever so slightly. Again, this is just to bring focus onto our subject, onto the aircraft and the scenery. So by darkening it just ever so slightly, just helps naturally draw the eye up onto the subject. And then again, because we're doing the opposite of the other one, we are just going to bring a bit of cool temperature, so dropping the temperature down to the blue side, to the cool side, and that's again enhancing that effectively the sunset that we've enhanced. It again draws the eye back to that, and it also adds brings the sea back to more of the natural blue tone that the sea is, so it's not getting too warm. As you can see, the before and after. The last thing I'm going to do mask wise is if we look at the aircraft, it's white. It's a really lovely simple livery with the mascara on it, and it kind of just stands out that the aircraft is just ever so slightly yellow in tone. I mean, I don't think it's drastic, but you know, you can really see it knowing that the aircraft was crisp white. So what we're going to do is we're going to open our mask menu. We're going to hit create new mask, and we're going to go select objects, and we're just going to quickly brush over the aircraft like so. Boom, AI does its magic, and we've got the aircraft selected with lovely neat lines around it. So we can then just go minus the temperature down about 10, 11. Again, that's straight away made it white again, and we're just going to bring a tiny bit of exposure to the aircraft. Not much, just enough for it to pop out as our subject. And there we go. That is the before and after of this Aegean A320 coming into land at Corfu with a stunning sunset. Like I said, it's one of my favourite photos I've ever taken. It's not because it's a unique aircraft, it's nothing special, it's just a stunning location, and it was a stunning trip for me. Like I say, go and check out that video if you haven't done so yet. And yeah, I think just one of my favourite photos, and that is how I took it from before and after. If you did enjoy this video, please do let me in the comments down below, and I will do as many of them as I can. I want to try and get as many different types of photo to edit, so you can take all the different tips and tricks that I have to give on how to tackle different photo situations. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. It means the world to me, really helps the channel, and yeah, I will see you in the next one.